So before I start this class, I would like to tell you one thing. In my previous class, I have discussed three special cases in potential energy. You try to recollect the second special case too. The second special case too, I consider a block of mass m suspended by a vertical spring. The upper end of spring is fixed to a rigid support. The block was originally at rest in its equilibrium position. When a constant force of magnitude F is applied on the block vertically downwards, and discuss the maximum displacement of the block from its initial position. I mean, magnitude of maximum displacement of the block from initial position, the downward direction is equal to F by K. So I have discussed this in case 2. As I said, this problem, I mean, the question based on this case, same conclusion was asked in one of the previous MSET examinations. I said it was given in 95 MSET exam, but it was given in MSET examination, no doubt, but not in that year. It was given a different year. The question, I think it was given in 2004 MSET exam or 2005, one of the years, but it was certainly given in the previous MSET exam in engineering entrance. So anyhow, the conclusion does not change. Only that information I said, the year it was different. Okay, let us come back to the lesson now. So I was discussing about conservation of mechanical energy. So change in the total mechanical system is denoted by delta E, which you write EF minus EI. That means change in the total mechanical system when the system passes from one initial state I to another final state F. Is denoted by delta E, that you can write EF minus EI. EI is the total mechanical energy of the body or system in the initial state. EF is the total mechanical energy of system in the final state. So, as I discussed in the previous class, when the system passes from one initial state I to another final state F, change in the total mechanical system is equal to the work done by the other forces which are not conservative. So change the total mechanical system is equal to total work done by other forces which are not conservative, which are non-conservative. So while solving problems based on conservation of mechanical energy, I mean while discussing examples based on conservation of energy, mainly we come across two types of examples. In some of the problems, the body or system may move under acts of conservative forces only, such that no work is done by the other forces which are not conservative. And some of the problems, a single non-conservative force, frictional force, may act on the body. So if the body or system moves under acts of conservative forces, such that no work is done by other forces which are not conservative, that means W naught is 0, then delta E will be 0. Delta E equal to EF minus EI. That will be 0. So our EF equal to EI. That means if a body or system moves under the acts of conservative forces only, then total mechanical system remains constant throughout the motion under the acts of conservative forces. If a body or system moves under the acts of conservative forces such that no work is done by the other forces which are not conservative, then the total mechanical system remains the same throughout the motion under the acts of conservative forces. Then the total initial mechanical system, we can write sum of the initial kinetic energy system plus initial potential system. Total final mechanical system, sum of the final kinetic energy system plus final potential system. Here Ki represents the kinetic energy of the body or system in the initial state. Kf is the kinetic energy of the body or system in the final state. Ui is the potential energy of the body or system in the initial state. And U subscript F is the potential of the body or system in the final state. So when the total mechanical energy remains constant, if there is increase in one form of mechanical energy, there will be an equal decrease in the other form of mechanical energy. You can write Kf minus Ki is equal to Ui minus Uf. For example, if you consider a body which falls freely under gravity in the absence of air resistance, the body is dropped from certain height above the Earth's surface so that it moves only under influence of gravity. Then as the body moves towards the Earth's surface, the gravitational potential of the body decreases. At the same time, kinetic energy of the body will be increasing during the motion. So decrease in the gravitational potential energy, Ui minus Uf gives you the decrease in the gravitational potential of the body, will be equal to the increase in the kinetic energy of the body during any part of the motion. So you consider another example. If a body is supposed projected vertically upwards with some initial loss to you, from near the Earth's surface, so that it moves only under influence of gravity after projection in the absence of air resistance. Then during the upward motion, the kinetic energy of the body decreases. At the same time, gravitational potential of the body increases. So from same equation you can write Uf minus Ui equal to Ki minus Kf. So Ki minus Kf gives you the decrease in the kinetic energy of the body or system. Uf minus Ui gives you the increase in the gravitational potential of the body or system. So increase in the gravitational potential of the body or system is equal to the decrease in the kinetic energy system during any part of the motion, in the upward motion. So as I said, while solving problems based on conservation of energy in mechanics, we come across mainly two types of examples. So first type of examples are those examples where the body moves under action of conservative forces so that no work is done by the other forces which are not conservative. The other type of examples we come across a single non-conservative force, frictional force. For example, frictional force may act on the body, but other forces acting on the body or system may be conservative. Suppose if a single non-conservative force, that is frictional force, acts on the body, but other forces acting on the body are conservative. That means only single non-conservative force, frictional force, acts on the body. Then the change in the total mechanical energy of the body or system when the system passes from one state I to another state F is equal to work done by the frictional force on the body or system. So W subscript small f represents work done by the frictional force on the body or system. Suppose if there are several non-conservative forces acting on the body or system, then change in the total mechanical system is equal to total work done by all the non-conservative forces. WNC is the total work done by non-conservative forces on the body or system. So here now I am going to summarize the discussion I have done so far about conservation of mechanical energy. I would like to show you the notes for the discussion for what I have done, that is the conclusions. I am going to show you on the screen. So those are writing the notes, come on, you must get ready with your notebook and pen again. I am going to show you the notes for this discussion. Come on, look at the screen here. First point, put the heading conservation of mechanical energy in your notes. The change in the kinetic energy of a system of particles will be equal to the algebraic sum of the works done by all the forces, including both internal and external forces, irrespective of nature of the forces. That means we'll arrive at the conservation of mechanical energy starting from the work energy theorem. So from the work energy theorem, we write delta Ke equal to W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4 etc. up to W1. Here delta Ke represents change in the kinetic energy of the body or system. W1, W2, W3, W4 etc. represent the works done by the individual forces on the system. So same thing can also be written delta Ke equal Wc plus W0, where Wc is algebraic sum of works done by the conservative forces and W0 is algebraic sum of the works done. Algebraic sum of the works, there should be plural here, works done by the other forces which are not conservative. Come on, all of you finish copying up to here. So in case you need more time to copy this, you can take a pause and take your time to copy the notes. I am going to show you the continuation for this. But delta U can write minus WC or WC equal to minus delta U. Delta U represents change in the potential system. As we discussed previously here, delta Ke equal to WC plus W0. Here on the right side, we are going to substitute WC equal to minus delta U. So therefore, you can write delta Ke equal to minus delta U plus W0. I have substituted W, work done by conservative force equal to minus delta U. So you can take delta minus delta U to the left side of the equation. So delta Ke plus delta U equal W0. Delta K is a change in the kinetic energy of the body or system, which you can write Kf minus Ki. Delta U is a change in the potential of the body or system, which you can write Uf minus Ui. Or you can write the same thing as Kf plus Uf minus of Ki plus Ui equal to W0. The sum of kinetic and potential energies of system is called as the total mechanical energy of system. Come on, all of you. Finish copying up to here. You can substitute Ki plus Ui is equal to Ei, that means total mechanical system in the initial state. Kf plus Uf, we are going to write it as Ef, which represents total mechanical system final state. So in case you need more time to copy, you can take a pause. I am going to show the continuation for this. You can write Ef minus Ei equal to W0. Ei equal to Ki plus Ui, total initial mechanical energy system. Me stands for mechanical energy here. Ef equal to Kf plus Uf, that is total final mechanical system. Therefore, delta E equal to W0. Delta E means Ef minus Ei, change in total mechanical system. W0 is 0. W subscript 2. W subscript 4 represents work done by other forces which are not conservative. And delta E is 0, or Ef minus Ei is 0, or Ef equal to Ei. Come on, all of you finish copying the notes up to here. So in case you need more time to copy the notes, you can take a pause and copy the notes. I'm going to show you the continuation for this. So if a body or system moves under action of conservative forces only, such that no work is done by the other forces which are not conservative, then the total mechanics of the body remains constant during the entire motion in the absence of friction and other dissipative forces. Dissipative forces means like friction, air resistance, viscous forces, etc., which tend to decrease the mechanical of the body. Come on, all of you finish writing the notes. In case you need more time to copy the notes, you can take a pause and take your time. I'm going to show you the continuation for this. When a single non-conservative force, that is friction force, acts on the body, but the other forces are conservative, and the change in the total mechanical system will be equal to the work done by the frictional force on the body. We write F minus EI equal W subscript F. Here W subscript F represents work done by the frictional force of the body. Come on, all of you finish writing up to here. In case you need more time to copy the notes, you can take a pause. Next, I am going to discuss some special cases in conservation of mechanical energy. So next, I am going to discuss some special cases in conservation of mechanical energy. Coming to the case 1, you find number of questions given in different books based on the application of conservation of energy for the oscillatory motion of bob of a simple pendulum. So we are not going to discuss the simple harmonic oscillations of the bob of simple pendulum at present. That will be discussed in the chapter simple harmonic motion. We are only going to discuss how we can apply conservation of law of conservation of mechanical energy for the oscillatory motion of the bob of simple pendulum. Let us consider the bob of a simple pendulum suspended by a string, inextensible string. The upper end of the string is fixed to a rigid support. Let's be the point of suspension. Let us suppose the bob is pulled to a side from the lowest position. Of course, when the bob is not oscillating, when the bob is at rest, it will remain at rest at the lowest position where the potential edge is minimum. Let us suppose the bob is pulled to one side from the vertical position of the string, so that the string makes some angle theta with the downward vertical. Then next, let us suppose the bob is released from rest, so that the bob oscillates to and fro. About the lowest position under influence of gravity, in the absence of air resistance. So in this case, there are only two forces acting on the bob at any instant during the oscillations. One is its weight mg, which is the gravitational force on the bob by the earth, which is the conservative force. The second force is the tension force by the string on the bob. The tension force exerted by the string on the bob acts along the string and away from the bob. This tension force exerted by the string on the bob acts perpendicular to the velocity, instantaneous velocity of the bob at all the instant during the motion. Therefore, no work is done by the tension force by the string on the bob. So as the bob oscillates to and fro in the vertical plane about the lowest position, So if you consider any part of the motion of the bob, work is done only during by the gravitational force as the bob moves from the highest position to the lowest position. No work is done by the tension force by the string on the bob. So in the absence of air resistance, when the bob oscillates to and fro under influence of gravity and tension force by the string, then the total mechanical of the bob remains conserved during the oscillatory motion. At the lowest, that is, sum of the kinetic energy and gravitational potential of the bob will be constant. At the lowest position, gravitational potential of the bob is minimum. At the same instant, kinetic energy will be maximum. At the highest position, velocity of the bob, instant velocity of the bob is 0. So kinetic of the bob becomes 0 at the highest positions or extreme positions during the oscillations. But gravitational potential is maximum at the highest position. So the bob oscillates to and fro under influence of gravity in the absence of air resistance. Then there are only two forces acting on the bob. One is its weight mg. Second one is the tension force by the string on the bob. So no work is done by this tension force by the string on the bob as the bob moves from the highest position to lowest position. So work is done only by the gravitational force of the bob. Let h denote the maximum vertical height to which center of mass of the bob rises above the lowest position during the oscillations. Let V subscript m represent the maximum speed of the bob during the oscillations or speed of the bob at the lowest position. So applying conservation of mechanical energy for the oscillatory motion of the bob of simple pendulum, we can say the total mechanical energy of the bob. You need not copy this whole working which I am going to write now. I will be showing you the notes later. So total mechanical energy of the bob at the lowest position can be equated to the total mechanical energy of the bob at the highest position. Here TM stands for total mechanical energy of the bob. Total mechanical energy of the body is the sum of the kinetic energy of the body and the potential energy of the body. So we can choose the lowest position of the body as a reference position for measurement of gravitational potential energy. That means we can assume gravitational potential energy to be 0 at the lowest position. So total lowest position equal to kinetic energy at the lowest position, that you can write half mvm square. V subscript m represents the maximum speed of the bob during the oscillations at the lowest position. So kinetic potential at the lowest position, you can take it as 0. If you choose the lowest position of the bob as a reference position for measurement of gravitational potential energy. So if you choose the lowest position of the bob as a reference position for measurement of gravitational potential energy, then the gravitational potential of the bob when it is at the highest position will be equal to mgh. So at the highest position, kinetic energy of the bob is 0. The gravitational potential of the bob can be written as mgh. Then h is the vertical height through which the bob falls as it moves from highest position to lowest position. So half mvm square equal to mgh. So Vm square equal to 2gh. So magnitude of the velocity of the bob at the lowest position or maximum speed during the oscillations, you can write root of 2gh. I observed with some students that they used to get a doubt, why should we consider potential energy to be 0 at the lowest position? Because as they study in the school level, gravitational potential of the body is taken to be usually 0. In the examples they deal with in school syllabus at the ground level. Why should not we measure the height from ground level? Even if you choose the ground level as a reference for measurement of gravitational potential, you can arrive at same conclusion. Example, h1 is the height of the bob above the ground level when it is passing to lowest position during the oscillations. Let h2 be the maximum vertical height to which the bob rises above the same ground level and it reaches the highest position. In that case, gravitational potential at the lowest position, we can write as mgh1. Gravitational potential at the highest position, you can write mgh2. In that case, you get half mvm square equal to mg into h2 minus h1. Again, you can arrive at same conclusion, vm square equal to 2gh, where h equal to h2 minus h1. That means what is important in our calculations in the examples on conservation of energy is only difference of potential energy between the two positions. That means only difference of potential energy at the two positions will enter into the calculation. The difference between the gravitational potential of the body at the highest position and gravitational potential of the body at the lowest position, that difference will be the same irrespective of the reference level you choose for measurement of potential energy. That means you may choose ground level as reference for measurement of potential energy in some of the examples. In some of the examples, for convenience, we may choose the lowest position of the body during the motion as a reference position for a measurement of potential energy. In both the cases, the difference in the potential energy of the body between the initial and final position, that will be the same. So for convenience of solutions of the problems, usually in the problems based on conservation of energy, we can choose the lowest position of the body as a reference position for measurement of gravitational potential of the body. So in some of the problems, you may be given the angle theta which the string makes with the downward vertical when it is at the highest position. So you can express this h in terms of L and theta. Let A be the position of center of mass of the bob at the lowest position. B is the position of center of mass of the bob at the highest position. So you can drop a perpendicular from the position B on the vertical position of the string. That means N is the foot of the perpendicular dropped from the position B on the vertical line passing through the point of suspension. So H is equal to the vertical distance to the points N and A. So the vertical distance to the points N and A, you can write distance from S to A minus distance from S to N. Let L denote the length of the simple pendulum, which means distance between the point of suspension and center of mass above. So distance from S to A you can write as L. Distance from S to B is also equal to L. So in the triangle SNB, you can write cos theta equal to SN by SB. Or you can write SN equal to SB cos theta. Just concentrate only to listen. You can copy the notes later. So our SN you can write L cos theta, SB you can write L. So the vertical height H through which the bob falls as it moves from highest position to lowest position during the oscillatory motion is equal to distance of the points N and A, which you can write distance between the point of suspension to the point A minus distance from S to N. Distance from S to A you can write as L. Distance between S and N you can write as L cos theta from here. So the conclusion of the discussion, which we may directly use in good number of examples later, particularly when we discuss problems in motion in a vertical circle. At the instant when the string makes an angle theta with the downward vertical, the vertical height of center of mass of the bob above the lowest position is given by H equal L into 1 minus cos theta. So next I am going to show you the notes for the same discussion which I have done just now. Look at the screen here. Special cases in conservation of energy, conservation of mechanical energy. You see the case 1. The bob of a simple pendulum. I will read out the conclusion first. Statement first. The bob of simple pendulum oscillate to and fro about the lowest position in a vertical plane under the influence of gravity in the absence of variation. Then you can write down this TME means total mechanical energy of the bob at the lowest position is equal to TME means total mechanical energy of the bob at the highest position. Come on, finish writing this. So I'm going to show you the continuation for this. In case you need time, we take a pause. So total mechanical at the lowest position. I have written as half m kinetic energy at the lowest position for potential. I have written potential energy at the lowest position to be 0. That means the lowest position of the bob is taken as a reference level for measurement of potential energy here. So potential at the lowest position is 0. Total mechanical at the lowest position is equal to kinetic at the lowest position plus potential at the lowest position. Kinetic at the lowest position is half mvm square. That is equal to total mechanical at the highest position is equal to kinetic energy at the highest position plus potential at the highest position. Kinetic energy at the highest position I taken as 0. Potential energy at the highest position is equal to mgh, where h is the vertical height above the lowest position. From this you can write Vm square equal to 2gh, magnetic velocity of the bob at the lowest position is equal to root of 2gh. So magnetic velocity of the bob at the lowest position is root 2gh. I have written magnetic velocity at the lowest position by v subscript m, which means it is the maximum speed during the oscillations. In the figure, S is the point of suspension. You can take A means position of center of mass of the bob at the lowest position. B means position of center of mass of the bob at the highest position. V is 0 at the highest positions, extreme positions. H is the vertical height to which the bob falls as it moves from highest position to lowest position. N is the foot of the perpendicular drop from the position B on the vertical position of string. Theta is the angle which the string makes with the downward vertical when it is at the highest position B. We are going to express H in terms of L and theta. So in the triangle SNB, that is in this triangle from SNB, which is a right angle triangle, SN by SB, that is adjacent side by hypotenuse side, will be equal to cos theta. Or SN can be written as SB into cos theta. You can write SB equal to L. So SN can be written as L cos theta. Come on, copy down the notes up to this step. In case you need more time to copy the notes, you can take a pause. You better copy the diagram also. I'm going to show you the continuation for this. So in the figure, H can be written as, in the figure I have shown previously, H can be written as the distance between the points N and A. That you can be written as CA minus SN, that is L minus L cos theta. This conclusion you have to remember, which we directly use in good number of examples later. That is at the instant when the string makes an angle theta with the downward vertical. The vertical height of the center of mass of the bob above the lowest position is given by H equal to small l into 1 minus cos theta. Small l is the distance between the point of suspension and center of mass of the bob. Come on, finish copying this part. You can take a pause and complete writing the notes. So I am going to discuss the next special case in conservation of mechanical energy. So next I am going to consider one special case where a block of mass m is dropped from rest. That means released from rest from vertical height h above an ideal elastic spring of force constant k. So here mass of spring is negligibly small compared to the mass of the block. L0 represents the length of the spring when it is initially uncompressed and unstretched. So I am going to discuss the calculation to find the maximum compression of spring. You just concentrate only to listen to me here. Don't copy the working part right now. It will be given the notes, shown the notes later. Let X subscript M. Let X subscript small m represent the maximum distance which the spring is compressed from its natural length before the block reaches the lowest position. As the block moves down under influence of gravity, the gravitational potential of the block decreases. Simultaneously, the kinetic energy of the block increases. So at the instant just before the block strikes the spring, the decrease in the gravitational potential of the block will be equal to mgh, which gets converted into the kinetic energy of the block. That means the kinetic energy of the block at the instant just before it begins to compress the spring is equal to mgh. But as the block begins to compress the spring, the elastic force by the spring on the block acts in the upward direction opposite to the motion of the block. Initially, when compression is small, the magnetic elastic force by spring in the upward direction will be less than the weight of the block. So the magnetic velocity of the block goes on increasing, but with non-uniform acceleration until the block reaches the equilibrium position, where its weight mg and elastic force by spring on the block are equal in magnitude. After that, crossing that equilibrium position, the magnetic velocity of the block goes on decreasing. When the magnetic elastic force by spring on the block becomes more than the weight mg of the block, at the lowest possible position up to which the block can go, the velocity of the block momentarily becomes zero. That means at the instant just before the block is rebounded upwards, the magnetic velocity of the block at the lowest position is zero. That means at the instant the maximum compression spring, the velocity of the block is zero. So here the lower end of spring is fixed to a ground or some fixed support. So for a measurement of gravitational potential, we can choose the lowest position of the block as a reference position or reference level for measurement of gravitational potential. That means at the lowest position of the block, we can assume that the gravitational potential of the block is zero. So in future, we are going to come across good number of examples involving a block and spring. So in all such examples which involve block and spring, total mechanical energy of the system of block and spring, that means we consider block and spring together as one system. Total mechanical system of block and spring is sum of three terms. So total mechanical system of block and spring means it is sum of the total mechanical energy of the block and total mechanical energy stored in the spring. Total mechanical of the block is equal to sum of two terms, kinetic energy of the block plus gravitational potential energy of the block. Total mechanical energy of spring, we normally write kinetic energy plus potential energy. But here, kinetic energy of spring is neglected because the mass of spring is negligible compared to the mass of block in the examples we deal. So therefore, kinetic energy of spring is neglected. Gravitational potential of spring is also neglected because the mass of the spring is negligible. So the only form of energy possessed by the elastic spring is elastic potential energy. So in the problems which we discuss right from now onwards in future, when the problem involves a block and spring, the total mechanical system of block and spring is sum of three terms. Kinetic energy of the block plus gravitational potential of the block plus elastic potential energy stored in the spring. So here total initial mechanical energy starting position are denoted by E subscript I when the block starts from rest. Kinetic of the block is zero. Gravitational potential of the block, we can write mg initial height of the block above the reference level. Initially, the spring is unstretched and uncompressed. The spring has natural length at the initial instant before the block strikes the spring. So the initial elastic potential stored in the spring is 0. So here initial height of the block above the reference level is equal to h plus xm. hi equal to h plus xm. hi is the initial height of the block above the reference level. That EF denotes the total mechanical energy of the system of block and spring at the instant of maximum compression of the spring. At the instant of maximum compression spring, that means when the block reaches the lowest position, the velocity of the block in the downward direction becomes 0. So kinetic of the block becomes 0. At the reference level or lowest position of the block, we can take gravitational potential of the block as 0. Elastic potential energy stored in the spring is equal to half k xm square. So in general, when the spring is compressed by distance x from its natural length, elastic potential energy stored in the spring is half k x square. So in the absence of friction, if there is no friction and air resistance, that means the block moves under the influence of conservative forces. Gravitational force is a conservative force and elastic force by spring is also conservative force. And total mechanical system of the block and spring remains constant when there is no friction and air resistance. So EF equal to I. So we can write half k xm square is equal to mg into h plus xm. But in some of the problems, it may be given that the block may slide between two vertical rails before it begins to compress the spring, which offers some retarding force opposing the motion of the block. So in such examples, if friction is present, that means if in case the block slides between two vertical rails before it compresses the springs, the block moves between two vertical rails before it compresses the springs. Then work done by friction force of the block between the two positions shown in the figure. You can write small f fs cos 180 because force of friction acts opposite the displacement of the block. So minus f into magnitude of the displacement of the block between the two instants is equal to h plus xm. Cos 180 is minus 1. In such cases, if friction is present, then change in the total mechanical system of block and spring, you can write as work done by friction force on the block. In case the block slides between two vertical rails before compressing the spring, or between block moves between two vertical rails. So EF we can write half k xm square and EI equal to mg into h plus xm. And WF we write minus f into h plus xm. From this, you can calculate the maximum compression spring if the height h is given and k is given. And magnitude friction is also given in case. So next, I am going to show you the notes for the same this case here. Come on, get ready with your notebook and pen here. I am going to show the notes for the same thing. So come on, write down case 2 here. First, I am going to show you the conclusion on the screen. Then I will show you the working. I will once read out the conclusion. Let a block of mass capital M be dropped from a vertical height h onto an elastic spring of force constant k. And let xm be the maximum compression spring. Then you can write half k xm square equal to mg into h plus xm. This is the conclusion. I would like to show you the calculation for this. The next figure and calculation. The next slide. Come on, finish copying this conclusion. In case you need time to copy the conclusion, you can take your time, pause and take your time. I'm going to show you the conclusion, continuation for this. Working here, this is the diagram. This is the initial position of the block where it is dropped from rest with 0 initial velocity. H is the initial height of the block above the upper end of the spring. Xm is the maximum compressed spring. L0 is the natural length of spring. Initial height of the block above the reference level is H plus Xm. We choose the lowest pitch of the block during the downward motion as the reference level for measurement of gravitational potentiality. So here EI means total initial mechanical of the block is sum of three terms I've explained. KE kinetic energy of the block plus gravitational potential of the block plus elastic potential stored in spring. EF means total mechanical the instant of maximum compression is equal again K in a kinetic energy of the block plus gravitational potential of the block plus elastic potential energy stored in spring. Kinetic of the block is 0 at the lowest position. Gravitational potential of the block is also taken as 0 at the lowest position. Elastic potential storing is half kxm square. So in the absence of non-conservative forces, EF equal to EI. Half kxm square equal to mg into h plus xm. Come on, finish writing this. You can take a pause and copy down this working. Total mechanical system of block and spring is sum of three terms. Kinetic energy of the block plus gravitational potential of the block plus elastic potential energy stored in the spring. If a constant retarding force small f acts on the block, then you can write work done by friction force of the block equal to minus Fs minus F into H plus Xm. Then you can write EF minus EI equal to WF. You can take a pause and copy down the working. I'll continue the discussion next class.